What's going on, guys? It's Luke here, going to do a weekly outlook for the week coming up from September 8th to the 12th, 2025. We're going to talk about the key levels I have marked out on my charts, just some areas that I'm watching for the week coming up, and just some potential scenarios that we could see play out, just how I'll be reacting. This isn't really going to predict what the market's going to do, just kind of seeing some areas that we should have marked out on our charts, some key areas, and some potential scenarios, and then we're going to go over the news for the week coming up. So we're going to start on NQ, and then we'll glance at ES. So interesting price action this week. We're going to start on the monthly. Our monthly candle is obviously bullish. We still have this monthly fair value gap down here, but I'm just marking out the areas that are probably going to be most relevant to us for this week coming up. So starting on the weekly, we had a strong weekly bullish close. We put in a nice wick. Weekly is still in bullish order flow as well as on ES, but again, we'll get to that later. But weekly is still in bullish order flow. And in terms of weekly draws and liquidity, we obviously have marked out our all-time high. We have this previous week's high right here, and then we have the previous week's low right here from this past week. And we also have this weekly low down here around 22,774, just in case we do break below here. This would be the next draw on liquidity. Now we go on to the daily. Our daily is a bit sideways. We're still kind of, oh no, we already inversed this last week actually. So we had this move down. Price put in actually a bullish S&T, and it since ran up. We're kind of just in a sideways market overall on NQ. NQ today actually swept out this daily high, but we're kind of just in a choppy market. And we have on the daily, for areas to mark out, we have this small little daily high right under all-time high. I just have it marked out as an extra draw on liquidity. And then we have... that's pretty much it. Just we do have this bullish S&T. NQ did sweep these lows. ES never did. It's hard to see a little bit on here, but we did sweep below these lows, and ES never did. But we do have this bearish S&T now off the highs, which is the most important to us right now. So again, areas I have marked out on NQ is going to be all-time high, this small daily high, previous week high. Then for sell side, we have previous week's low, and then this weekly low down here. And then most importantly, we have this S&T off the highs where ES put in the all-time high, NQ never did. Now we're going to go back over and just glance at ES really quick. So on ES, it's pretty much the same thing. Monthly candle, still printing bullish. Weekly with a strong small body but big wick. Weekly still maintaining bullish order flow. We did put in a new all-time high, like I said, which gives us an S&T off the highs. Okay, in terms of the weekly draws and liquidity, we have marked out the all-time high right here, and then we have the previous week's low down here, and then all the way down here I also marked out this weekly low down here, which leads into that higher time frame for value gap. Now going down to the daily. Daily is in bullish order flow. Again, we do have this S&T off the highs. ES swept out all-time highs. NQ never did. Therefore, we have a bearish S&T. For draws and liquidity below the previous week's low, we also have marked out these three sets of daily lows, which NQ swept them all, which is what I was talking about with the bullish S&T. But again, most relevant to us is going to be this bearish S&T off the highs. But daily just looks a little bit sideways, but it's still technically in bullish order flow. Okay, now I'm going to go back to NQ and kind of just look at some potential scenarios we could see play out. So we're going to really have to pay attention to ES this week, just because ES is the leading bullish index, right? ES is the one that put in the all-time high, and NQ hasn't done that yet. So we need to really pay attention to ES and really watch and see and have it work with us to form our bias for the day kind of thing. So we have, most importantly, this S&T off the highs, which is going to be a key factor coming into this week. So scenario number one, if ES continues to push up and go into price discovery, we're obviously probably going to see NQ want to follow, continue into price discovery, put in new highs, put in new lows, and follow ES on its way into price discovery. That would be scenario number one. Scenario number two, if the bearish S&T wants to continue to play out and ES wants to make a sweep lower for those lows, again, NQ swept these lows, ES put in a higher low. So if ES wants to make a push lower, potentially to the previous week's low, then we're going to probably see NQ do the same, and then potentially we see a move lower to take out. First draw on liquidity would be this previous week's low, and then from there we have this weekly low, which leads into this higher time frame fair value gap, which is the weekly and the monthly fair value gap down here. Again, I've been saying that we were building liquidity both ways. So if this S&T does want to play out, we do get a move to the sell side. We would be looking to take out this previous week's low first, and then beyond that, we are probably going to dump into that higher time frame for value gap, which I do feel is going to get filled eventually. Third scenario, maybe we get a manipulation back to the upside. ES pushes back above, manipulates back above the highs. NQ kind of does the same, and then we get a sell-off, and then we kind of reform and rethink again from there. So those are pretty much just the three scenarios we're looking at, right? ES goes into price discovery, NQ probably follows, continues to put in higher highs, higher lows, and push up along with it, and then we get a sell-off at like a later time. Scenario number 2, that SMT continues to play out. We see a push lower. First sell side draw we'd be looking to eye is obviously going to be the previous week's low, and if price gets under the previous week's low, we're going to probably be looking for continuations down into filling this higher time frame, weekly, monthly for value gap down here. And third scenario, potentially we get a manipulation higher, maybe both put in a new SMT or new all-time high, we get a push above, and then we get a rotation back down to take out some sell side, whether in the short term or in like the longer term. So keep these areas marked down on your charts. Really can't be predicting, but again, just keep an eye on this SMT. Keep an eye on previous week high, previous week's low. Those are going to be our first draws on liquidity that are most important to us. And I'm going to be watching, especially coming into Monday, how we react on the 4-hour. If we start to get below this 4-hour gap and we start to trade to the downside, I'm probably going to be short-term bearish. But if we continue to hold this gap, then I'm likely wanting to see price continue up. Again, we're going to have to pay close attention to ES, kind of follow an ES path. Watch this S&T, and we'll go from there. So again, we probably can see price discovery. We see a manipulation higher and a rotation back down, or continuations lower based off that S&T. First draws and liquidity, they're going to be most important to us, is going to be previous week's high and previous week's low. So pretty simple. Again, we just got to see what the lower time frame gives us, and we'll go from there. So now let's look over the news really quick for the week coming up and how I'll be trading the week personally. So Monday, we have a no news Monday. So for me, basically, I'll be on the charts, and if I see something like A+, I might take it low risk, but probably just on eval. I probably won't be trading funded that day just because we do have a heavy news week this week, but I will be on the charts on Monday, just not like heavily trading. Okay. Tuesday, we have no news, but I will be trading normally on Tuesday. I'll be fine to trade on Tuesday. Wednesday, we have PPI, so I will be trading after PPI. We should have some good volume in the market on Wednesday. Thursday is the main one, right? We have CPI and unemployment claims at 8:30. Now, I'm willing to trade after this, but it's going to depend on what happens with CPI. If we get an insane CPI candle and price action is just a mess, I'm just going to avoid that. But other than that, if we still have good price action, good volatility in the market, I'll be willing to trade on Thursday. It should be a normal trading day as long as CPI isn't insane. And then Friday, let's go back here. Friday, we have 10 a.m. we have consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. So I will be willing to trade after that. Again, just waiting for that 10 a.m. news to play out, and then we'll go from there. So pretty much Tuesday to Friday is going to be normal trading. Monday, we're going to be cautious, and Wednesday, we're going to see what happens with CPI, but should be a good trading week. We're going to see what happens. Keep an eye on those areas on the chart. Again, if you guys want to join the Discord for daily pre-market analysis, live trade commentary, I'm going to do some live trading when we get more people to join, probably around 75 to 100 members, then I'll do some live trading. But if you guys want to join, link will be in the pinned comment and the description. Link for the mentorship is in the description. And that's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.